What up? What up? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are tuned in from. Let me just make sure you have mics on, audio, visual, everything's good. How you doing? My name's Kelly Kellam. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily live stream. Welcome to the show. We had a great AMA last night. All the premium members, it was actually open for anybody. So if anybody took advantage of that, more power to you. We did record it. We had a great AMA last night that was in the premium Discord. Let me go ahead and make sure this is muted because I'm getting double talk here. Alrighty then. We had a great AMA in the Discord last night. We have a new stage feature that we put in there so we can regularly engage and do something specifically for all those people that are in the premium Discord. We want to make sure, because we give a lot here on the YouTube, but we got a whole community of paying members as well. And we want to be able to give a little more and something unique and special for those individuals. Of course, yesterday was there's a lot more breaking down of what's going on in BitLab with all the new initiatives we have, all the new courses, the functionality. If people wanted to upgrade or change their profiles and memberships, all that's there. We did record it because there's a lot of information about what's going on. This will be, I think, probably if not the only one of the only ones that we are going to share on a public stage. I think we might actually release it on the BitBoy channel just so people can really see what's going on in the BitLab, with all, how it works, what the new courses look like, how to engage with it. There's also some alpha in there. I talk about some on-chain data. And then I only recorded about the first 51 minutes of it, I believe. We went for about an hour and a half, hour, 45 minutes. We had TJ come down, Ben come down. Shout out to those guys. Ray was in the house. Ray, for people that don't know, this is a special shout out for Ray. Ray is the sort of, I don't want to call him back of house. He calls himself that, but he does the back end systems, did a lot of the integration with the website, the databases, he basically runs the Discord as well. So special shout out to him for being there as well. And everybody that was there, if you were there, throw a 1 in chat. We had about 20 people that signed in for that. We didn't have a lot of headway to really promote the time, but I'll be doing that every Wednesday. And it's not going to be the only time that stage is open. We have a number of other moderators within our community and valuable team members like Alex Green and Unforgettable Name. There's a bunch of different mods, other people that have been in the BitLab for a long time, adding a lot of value. We're going to give some select different people the ability to start that stage when they want as well. So people can hop in and share charts, share their thoughts, and people can ask questions, and it can be a community because that's what this is about. So with all that being said, how you doing? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Join us here. We're at 7. What are we at now? Let me go ahead and pull that up. Let's see. What are we at now? Where is BitLab? The BitLab Academy. BitLab Academy. Looks like we're pushing right about 7,250 community members. I don't want to call any one of you followers because you're not. I learn from you. You learn from me. We do this as a family, baby. This is what it's all about. So we're going to be breaking down a lot of charts today. Before we get into the charts, actually, let me just tell you what we're going to be going over today. We're going to be breaking down some of the stuff going on with the dominance. Could we get an altcoin season? Is it brewing? Is it already kind of percolating to start? We saw XRP make some good moves in the last couple of days. I showed you the other day as well. Ethereum was performing a bit stronger than Bitcoin. We also had the graph make a really strong push up. We've had Super and some other smaller cap gaming coins do really well. And so how do we contend with this? How do we get in position without having 1,000 coins? How do we make sure we're getting the exposure to the things that are moving? And then how do we reallocate? Meaning, how do we take profits and make this worth our damn time? How do we take profits so we can put that into other coins and just capitalize on multiple moves in the market that happen at different times? Because not everything runs at once. It's kind of like when you watch when you're a kid. I grew up in Houston. We had the rodeo, which is obviously very country, but in Houston, the rodeo is like a big. They have pop singers. They have it's 100,000 plus people a night go, and or even if you see at sporting games, they have the little thing on the screen where they have the races, or you can also think of horse races. You might have one horse way out in front, And then because it ran so fast, it gets tired and then it slows down. And as it slows down, we got Hog Slopper coming down the back stretch, and he's running, and he passes Secretariat, and he goes, and then he runs out of gas. And then we got Alex Green coming up on the outside. Yes, Alex Green, that's right, your horse is coming up on the outside. This is what same thing happens with these all these different digital assets. Liquidity moves through these different assets. It doesn't just say, you put liquidity and money, people buying, new people or people that have money on the sidelines. Not all that money gets deployed into every asset at the same time. So how do we contend with that? We're going to be talking about that today, how we can identify not only the most profitable trades, but to make our trades in general. Let's go ahead and back that one up. Rewind. How do we make our trades in general be as profitable as they can be? And it takes some balancing of your portfolio over time. Taking profits is the number one thing. Tied with that number one thing is capital management, risk management. So we're going to be talking about all that today. We're going to be breaking down a lot of charts. But before we get into that, if you're watching on any of the other streams, make sure you come over to BitLab Academy. It's right here at BitLab Academy. It's youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. And of course, if you haven't yet, come over to the BitLab Academy Twitter page, which is right here at Academy BitLab, and you see it's got the gold check. This is the only BitLab Academy page. If you're watching right now, do yourself a favor, do me a favor, go to Twitter, and if you're going to do nothing else, just make sure you are following the correct one, because I found about 7 fake BitLab Academy profiles yesterday. I want to make sure you don't get roped into a scam from somebody that talks like me, or if I allude to something on stream and then they basically take advantage of that and get you suckered in. No, make sure you're following the correct one. We got about 2,600 followers here on the Twitter. Make sure you're following us. Hit this retweet button. I'm going to do it right now. Bam, retweet. I'm going to hit this like button. If you do these 3 things, follow us, hit that retweet, hit that like button, you get entered to win. We draw every Friday. I'm not sure how long that's going to be going on, so take advantage of it while it lasts. Maybe I'll do a special giveaway today. And let's say this. We got, what's our viewership at today early in the stream? We got, I thought it said 11. We got 94 concurrent viewers, 36 likes. If we can get over 220 likes today in this stream, I will give away, what should I give away? I'll give I'll give an additional 1 month membership to the 1 month membership to the courses and the indicators. So you get both. If we get over 225 likes in today's stream. So let's go ahead and drive those up. We're going to be breaking down a lot, as I said. Make sure, by the way, I don't know why I don't usually do this on Thursdays. I should. Every Thursday afternoon, I do a podcast called Crypto Answered that's recorded through Twitter Spaces, but then we actually release it. We have distribution on iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Spotify. You can find it under Pennyfly Podcast and then look for Crypto Answered. But you can come in right here on Twitter live. You can listen to it live. We got Jordan Lindsay. I don't know if you all remember, we had him on as a guest. Wonderful guest. I've had him on my podcast several different times. Really, really smart individual. We also have Whale Coin Talk coming on this afternoon. And then we also have Crypto Vet, my partner in crime. And of course, this is brought to you by Presend, this podcast. They help support us being able to do this. I've had nearly every major name in the crypto industry on this, other than CZ and Charles Hoskinson. Maybe the Panther guys haven't been on there either, but most of the other people, major accounts. We talk. We try to bring people up on stage if they have thoughts and questions, if we have time. We always have great discussions here in this. So make sure you come over to my page, which is right here at Kelly Kellam, KELLYKELLAM, and just hit that reminder. Boom. Click in there. Join us this afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern time. If you aren't able to make that, you'll be able to listen to it later. This is recorded here, and you can also find it on all the spots I mentioned before. So let's go ahead and take a look at the markets. Actually, before we do this, I want to I forgot my people. I forgot all you. All right, so let's go ahead and see who was in here first. I think it was Crimson Caravan. Crimson Caravan was in here first with the that's what his first comment was. And then we got Alex Green coming in, always supporting, always Alex, let me know. You can throw it in chat here or not. It'd be nice if you did. We got the trading strategies portion course. Basically, I think it's 9 more lessons coming out on the in the BitLab Academy. Those should be released today or tomorrow. hopefully. Had a little bit of a bottleneck there with some of the editing proofing stage, but all that stuff should come out here, basically imminently. So definitely check that out. Get into BitLab Academy if you haven't. And also, I want to shout out, we do have the all-in package now. If you go to, let's see, you come over to bitlabacademy.com. If you come right here to, right here, you can start for free, of course, all the beginner stuff. And this, I might be moving this down below. We just had to throw this in there. This is, if you sign up for the BitLab Pro, if you currently have a membership, you get 50% off when you sign up for the first month, because we don't know, when you sign up for the BitLab Pro and upgrade your membership, we don't, everybody's subscription date is on a different day. So you may have just paid, you may have paid a month ago. I kind of acknowledged last night on the AMA, if you know your subscription rebilling date is coming up in a day or two, you can go ahead and sign up and you'll end up getting 50% off the first month. If your billing date was 2 or 3 days ago, this is why we added that 50% discount. So if you were currently a member, you would, kind of account that you may have already just paid the $37.99. So you'll get $48.50 off if you sign up. If you currently are a member, if you're not a member yet, then sign up here. It's already discounted because it's $97 for, basically having the courses, the indicators, both the BitLab indicators and the Ray Pulse indicators, as well as a premium Discord. So you end up getting, I think the total with all that would have been like in the 120s range something. And so we brought that all down under $100 with BitLab Pro. So you can sign up right here. Boom. If you are currently a member, make sure you log in first before you sign up. So it allows you to, and it just upgrades you and cancels the other memberships, because you'll have basically everything we currently offer. We do have the Mesopic Vision that is coming very soon. So we got Alex Green, Alexander G, Sawtooth Hiker, Ryan McEachern. I don't know if that's how you say it. We got Flat Smack. I like that name. Brad Guidell, my boy. How you doing, my friend? Alex Degen pre-show. I love it. Justin Eubanks, my guy. FOMO Splain. FOMO Sapien. I thought that I was an L. True Ducal. Good names in here. Gia S. How you doing? Granny's Garden. Where's our Karen Swagger Harris? We got Brokoshi No Dinero. Eric Threadgrill. Who else we got in here? Liviu Capitanu. Juby. Morning, y'all. There's Karen Swagger Harris. I knew you'd be in here. Total Clinic Solutions. Got everybody in the house. If you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Let's get this going. We're going to go ahead and jump in here and talk about what we're going to talk about. I'm feeling good today, everybody. If you can't tell, I didn't have any coffee or any food. Maybe I'm on like a fasting sort of fasting high. Let's go ahead and take a look at the market. We're coming up at $1.13 trillion market cap. Now, I want you to realize something. As big as we think crypto is, NVIDIA just made it to the $1 trillion club, meaning they're one individual business, they're one individual entity, one is over $1 trillion. As big as we think the crypto markets are, the crypto market as a whole is, think about this. We've got, let's see, 25,354 crypto assets that are listed, that are recognized by CoinMarketCap. And from 25,354, we have 1.13 trillion. Now, this is going to be a skewed number. Let me do the math here real quick. 113017482, excuse me, 682. I always get hiccups when I'm on with you guys. I don't know why. 25354. So if we averaged it out, that's pretty crazy. We average it out. If we average this out, because Bitcoin, this is pretty funny, because Bitcoin and Ethereum are so large, and of course the top 10 market caps really make up the bulk of the entire crypto ecosystem. But if we average this evenly across every cryptocurrency out there, it would make for a 1, 2, 3. It would make for a $44 million market cap, $44.5 million market cap if it was averaged across the board. And this kind of just goes to show you, what is Bitcoin's market cap? It's $522.230 billion. We got Ethereum coming in at $224 million. And I just want to reemphasize for everybody here. I really want to reemphasize this for everybody that you don't get locked in on getting just so myopically focused on the price. It does not make a better investment to get XRP over Bitcoin because XRP is 50 cents and Bitcoin is 26,700. If you're doing that because you think, what if XRP goes to 26,700? I'm in for a rude awakening for you in that you have to look at this circulating supply. There's 19,389,000 Bitcoin. So if you divided this market cap by this is how you get this price. Similarly, we got 51 billion XRP. So if you divided this market cap, 26 billion by 51 billion, you see this? See how this is half of this? That's how you get this price. So you want to pay attention to when you're looking at prices. Maybe it's a coin you never heard of. Maybe you're newer in the space. Maybe you're older in the space. It doesn't matter where you're at on your journey. We all, sometimes we jump too far ahead of the fundamentals. We got to tune it back to the fundamentals. Now, if you're way farther along this, don't worry. Remember, we always have to throw this back to the beginners because every cycle we end up having more beginners than we do people with experience because it's such an early space and so many new people come in to this market every time we get any sort of boom in the market. So you want to look, let's just kind of scroll about, boom, it doesn't matter, you know, boom, okay, I've never heard of MX, no, I know that one. I know all these. I don't know anything about Woo Network. Okay, if I'm looking at this and I'm not seeing this. I would just find this. Somebody talks about it, and I go, okay, it's 22 cents. 22 cents 13. Okay, well then on this, you know, you could come to CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, look at it. Okay, it's 22 cents. Does this mean it's good or bad? There's no relative nature of knowing if this is good or bad because of the price. It could be 0.00001. Could be 100. It could be, you know, it doesn't matter what the price is. You want to look at the price in relationship to what the market cap is. So we see right here, the market cap is 375 million. And then we have a fully diluted market cap. What is this? Fully diluted market cap is suggesting here that the total amount of supply is not yet out because the market cap is this is the total number. It's basically, we look at the circulating supply, right? 1.69 billion. So we divide this by 1.69 billion. This is how we get the price. Okay. Now, this is a lot of numbers, a lot of jargon, but let's just stay with me here. We've got a fully diluted market cap of 497 million. So we can tell even by looking at this and not looking down here, just by looking at circulating supply and seeing a market cap and fully diluted market cap, this immediately tells me that there is a roadmap, if we have not looked at it yet, that there's going to be further inflation, meaning more coins coming into the network, more coins being created. And this says that there's a total max supply of 2.25 billion tokens. Currently are at 1.69. So we're a little more, you know, about probably 65, 70% of the way there. We still have quite a bit of inflation left. And this is something that you want to pay attention to because if you have a fixed supply, or maybe it's already fully out, and you can just see the fully diluted market cap is, you know, where it's at because the total supply is there. And we can see a relationship of a total circulating supply. And this is, for instance, this is lower than XRP and Cardano and a lot of coins. But what is the utility of this? You can go and here on the left, go to the website. You can check out the white paper. You can look into these things. Don't just look at a price. Look at the data, the fundamentals there. So that is your basics for today. But coming back here, we can see the relationship of where coins are ranked by looking at the market cap and just pulling up CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko and seeing where they're ordered. This order is based on how large a market cap, meaning how much liquidity is in each one of these assets. How big is the ecosystem? That's what we want to see. Now, if we kind of come over here, we can do 30-day. Let's do this. We'll do the losers first, meaning, you know, we're looking what the cumulative loss is over the last 30 days. SUI, some people say SUI, I say SUI, 78% down in the last 78 days. So maybe this is a good opportunity to look at the chart on this. Is this collapsing? Is there bad news on this? Is this, you can pull data just from this basic information. You can say, okay, I'm tired of buying stuff and it going the other way. Well, very easy. This is a very basic strategy. Come to CoinMarketCap on the top 100. You can add these. If you don't have these, you can come up over here. Filters. No, what is it? Here. No, dang it. I forgot because I set this up so long ago. Customize. Yeah. So you can add the different things you want in here. Just click them, turn them on, you know. So boom, apply changes. So we can see right here. I just turned it off. Let me turn that back on. No, I didn't. Price change. Oh, yeah, that's all I want, actually. 7-day. Now, we can look at the last 30 days. As I said, we see the losers. Now, once you know that there's a list of losers, now you can identify which ones are in different sectors of your portfolio you're trying to fill out, whether it's gaming or metaverse or DeFi or smart contracts, Oracle projects, cross-platform. There's so many different things. And rather than just buy things because they're up or down, you can also be somewhat tactful there and figure out if you have Ethereum, Cardano, and AVAX, maybe you don't need to add another smart contract platform. Maybe you can look into expanding somewhere into gaming or AI or all these sorts of things. And so what we do, we can just take a general look. We're just getting a general awareness of what's going on here. We see these are down. So then maybe how about this? We can look today, we'll look at SWI, PancakeSwap, and Optimism as some of the coins that we look at when we're doing TA, because we can see over 30 days that these are really performing poorly. Now we can also look, boom, at the best performers over the last month. We see Kava's way up, Render's way up, XRP is up 8%, Tron's up. So we're getting a general consensus of what's going on in the market. You can also look more locally, 7 days, over this last week. Optimism was down big on the month and the week. So maybe this is more of if this is more locally having another 11% down, maybe Optimism's setting up for a bounce. We can also see on the right, I have just the last 7-day chart here. Maybe there's something there. We're going to look into these. Will one of you mods, will you send me in the Discord what those were? The 30-day, what was it? Optimism, sweep, cake, SWI, and Optimism. I'll make sure to check out those for sure. Now, how's everything else looking? We can see Bitcoin's down 5% over the last month. It's up 2%, 2% on the last week. Ethereum, pretty even over the last month, basically nearly about where it started. It's up 3% in the last week. Tether, it's doing exactly what we wanted to do. BNB, let's look at BNB today as well. We haven't looked at this much, and we absolutely should, because it is a fairly important staple in the top 10 with the ecosystem that they've built, being the largest exchange and how much they've have on Binance Smart Chain. And there's just there's a lot of liquidity here, $47 billion in BNB. So we'll take a look at that one as well. I got XRP's been pumping. I'm getting some dings. I think you all are probably sending me those things I asked you for. XRP's been pumping, but is this a setup for? There we go. Is this a setup for a pullback, or is this a setup for a continuation? Because everybody's speculating on the news about what's happening with XRP regarding the court case they've been in with the SEC for the last 2.5 years or so. Cardano's down 5% in the last month, up just under 2% the last week. Dogecoin down 9%, Polygon down 8%, about even on the last week. Solana. So we're getting a general sense of what's happening, and this is what I like to do. Why am I doing this today? You haven't seen me do this very often, because we're on the first day of June. I'm when you're on a trip somewhere, you don't stare at a map the entire time you're on the way there. Before you go, you look at the map, you say, what's going on in the markets? What's going on with that? In this case, what's going on with the assets? Are there opportunities brewing? What did last month provide for these coins? What did last month provide by the way of profits and losses, gains and drops? Is this setting up for an opportunity, whether it be to get out of an asset, whether it be to get into an asset? Sometimes getting out means taking profit. Sometimes it means cutting your losses. So today is about the most profitable trades. And how do you do that without looking at a map to see where you're at, where you've come from, and figure out where you're going from there? So what are we shorting? Andre Britt says, I don't know. Let's see. We just talked about it. We're looking right here on the 30-day down. The last month we got SWI down, PancakeSwap down, Optimism down. So I can tell you right now, these are probably the least likely candidates for shorts, but you never know. Price could be dropping and still show signals for a much bigger drop. So maybe it's breaking down to a key support. and it could lose that support and give another opportunity for a short. Now, a better opportunity looking for shorts, depending on where you're at in the market, is looking at this last 30 days. All these things are up. Are we setting up for a potential? Are we setting up for a potential short on these? Maybe not, because we can see on the 7 days, this has been, we can see right here, it's already been dropping. So maybe the 30%, maybe it was up, 40, 45%. And this was, the short was before this last week when we got this. So we're going to be looking at all this TA. We're going to be trying to identify what is going on in the market, where we're at, what we're doing. So again, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get those likes up over 225 today. We'll be giving away some stuff. We'll do a drawing a day early. That means there'll be 2 drawings this month, this week, so we can give stuff away to you all. Now let's come back over here. Let's look at what's going on. Now, if you haven't yet, make sure before we dive into this, come over to BitLab Academy. I'm actually, I don't know why sometimes I forget to put this in the chat. I will do this right now. Retweet this for entry to win. Boom. You have to like and retweet this this tweet. Let's see how many of you have done this so far. Okay, we only got 19 of you that are trying to win. That's okay. That means a better chance for the fewer of you. Now let's go ahead and dive into these charts. Man, let's first. You know what? Before we go here, let's look right here. We're gonna look at a couple things. We need to look at some macro stuff because it's the beginning of the month. I want you all to have a good process. Doesn't have to be the first day of the month, but at least, even more, I would say at least twice a month, you should be looking at the monthly chart and then also the totals and the dominance. Get the landscape down. We want to see what's going on with the landscape. Now I'm going to double click. You see I have all these indicators here. You may have indicators set up. You may have templates. If you have all these indicators, you can double click on the chart, not over an indicator, but on where it's just a black chart or a white chart if you have a white chart. And that'll just minimize though. If you double click, brings it back up. You see that? Very easy to go in and out of these. Now, similarly, if you have a multiple chart setup, if you press Option on Mac or Alt on PC, if you click on the chart like this, if you have multiple chart setup, you can go in and out of these without having to go down here and click this button down here. So let's go back into it. Now, dominance. What's going on with dominance? Well, we see here, but how many days is this? Let's go ahead and measure this. We got 744 days so far. We've basically been trading in this range, okay? This range is what I'm talking about, this parallel channel. What is this phrase you'll hear nearly every technical analyst say on YouTube? The trend is your friend until the end. Well, currently this is the trend, parallel channel. The trend has been resistance in this region, not specifically at this line, but resistance in this sort of region here, right? We got fractions of a percent, above and below is generally what I like to look at when you're seeing any level of support and resistance, whether it's a diagonal line or a horizontal line as we see here. But the point being here is once we come up into the zone, we have proven for the last, over 2 years that this is finding resistance here and then has in the past broken down. And what this is, each one of these, boom, boom. These are major altcoin seasons, meaning the dominance is falling. This is a dominance chart, not a price chart. When the dominance is falling for Bitcoin, this means liquidity is moving more quickly into other sectors of the crypto market, meaning the other altcoins. So as we see right here, we've had a number of different, we can kind of clean this up because a lot of these patterns have already played out, so they're irrelevant to continue on the chart. We have a little bit of a diamond here. It's a very loose diamond, but with this, we can even, this is kind of irrelevant. We could take this off at this point. This is the primary focus here. And I want you to notice, I wouldn't call this a bull flag because of how far extended out this is. Option T, how far extended out this is nearly the same length that this is high. And in addition to that, this kind of consolidated a bit before we expanded and then contracted. So this is not a bull flag. You gotta be able to decipher the differences. And we break all this stuff down in the patterns, candle patterns course in BitLab Academy. So here we see currently we're losing this level. Is this going to be a fake out to the downside and then continue to the upside? In which case, if this does, this means that we're going to see a lot of pressure. If this price action, where's my marker? If this kind of comes in like this and then continues up, If this continues up, this is going to show a lot of maybe not direct pressure on altcoins dropping. It's going to be determined by the context of what's happening with the market. If this pushes up, and altcoins are seeing a lot of liquidity also, but there's a lot more liquidity going into Bitcoin, they both can go up, but this means Bitcoin is going up much faster than the altcoin market as a whole is. Does this mean all altcoins won't perform as good as Bitcoin? No. You're going to have different coins perform on their own sort of pace. You'll have one pump and then pull back and then another one pump. You're going to see liquidity flowing because this is a capital market. This means people are trading. This means when one coin pumps 100%, there's going to be, not everybody, the people that make it in this market start taking some profits. They take out their initial investment at minimum. Sometimes they take out 50 to 80%. If you put $1,000 in an asset and then the asset pumps 180% and you take zero profits, you're losing. I'm telling you right now, if you are in any asset and it pumps 150% and you've taken zero profits at all, you're not doing yourself the favor of allowing yourself to dominate this market. Because if you don't take profits when you're winning, you don't deserve the profits. Now, does that mean you need to close out the entire trade? No, absolutely not. You're going to have to determine what your best strategy is, what the strategy works for you, your time horizon, your risk exposure, all these things. We've talked about this a lot, but you need to be able to take capital out, maybe leave it in stablecoin and wait, even if it's for that same asset, wait for a drop and then redeploy it in. Now you're, increasing the size of the holding in that asset. A lot of people will do a blending of that and taking profits, maybe taking their initial investment out and leaving just the profits they made on that in that. So they're making money on their money. That's a wonderful way to do it too. Another way you can do it is take profits at whatever targets you have, and you leave some on the sidelines to redeploy in that asset because you really like that asset, but you want to get more of it when it drops. And you put the other profits in. This is what I've preached a lot on this channel is sort of allocating a grouping of putting 30% of your profits that you take directly into your long-term holdings and directly into Bitcoin, or splitting between Bitcoin and Ethereum. But long-term hold, you're not trading it. You're just putting it in there. You're not touching it for five or more years. And then you leave another 30% in your trading portfolio, and you can redeploy it back into that asset or into other assets. You can pull out of one gaming token because you took profits, and then as that's retracing, then you see the other asset that's setting up to follow it, the next one to catch the liquidity. So that's what we want to. That's why we want to look at right now at the beginning of the month, looking at the dominance to get it sort of an evaluation of basically determining what our analysis is for the likelihoods of, are we going to have an altcoin push, or are we going to have Bitcoin start basically taking some of that liquidity? And we see right now, this is not a clear sign. This is not saying go all in on altcoins. At this point, you should have already had some sort of allocation towards different, what you're looking at, what positions you have, and that's a healthy way to do it. If you haven't been in yet, that's okay too. We're going to be looking at TA here in a moment to determine where those levels are on a number of different assets, so we can take advantage of the market because we planned for scenarios that we can then execute on. Getting a little worried that it is so battered, but that's what faith is, I suppose. Nothing has changed except the SEC pulling the price down. Yeah, we looked yesterday. Let's actually look at it again right here. CME. See, it's got just pre-selected in there. I could go off so you can see the whole chart. This has been flip-flopping. Remember yesterday, this was here and this was here. This is, the comments from the different members of the Fed is having impact on what people think. Yesterday, it was like 68 or 69% was like the bet was that we were going to get another interest rate hike. And then there was a comment that came out. Now this is flip-flop back and forth. I don't trade on this, but I utilize this. Why? Yes, the name Y says, can you look at the 88 ETH chart? Yeah, you know what? I don't think I've ever looked at that chart. I'd love to look at it. It's good to look at charts looking at the different pairings. So it's not just coin/USD. But the point here is this is giving context of what the institutional smart money, traditional asset traders, futures traders are betting on where the market's going to go. in terms of, where the interest rate hike is going to be. And they've been pretty spot on. Now, is this going to indicate that we are getting that pause? Well, we're going to have to see. We can't trade just on this data. We build our basket of data. We build an array of data that we see after we pull, 20 or 30 pieces of data. And you may not realize you're pulling that much data. When you're looking at this, that data is in your head. When you hear, when you're listening to me, that's a piece of data for you. When you listen to Cryptos R Us, that's a piece of data for you. You watch Frankie Candles, that's data. When you look at your own charts, this is where you put it all together. You're hearing different people's opinions. You're seeing different tools that everybody's using. And then you say, okay, this is the tools I'm comfortable with. I have heard that. I have seen that. I'm aware of this. And then you look at a chart and you say, how does all this fit into when I'm looking at the technical analysis? Where does the probability bias lie? You want to lean into probability bias, not emotional bias, not personal bias, not an influencer bias. Gain as much data points as you can, and then look at the chart and try to see through all that data and all the different interpretations of it, and then your own data that you're looking at and on-chain data, all the different things. Then you can see where the probability bias lies, and that's how you execute the healthy and consistently profitable trades. Are you going to take losses? Yes, you're going to take losses. You're going to lose trades. But when you have a healthy strategy in place and capital protection, risk management in mind, you only need to win 51% of your trades. And there's some strategies out there that you can win only, like a Crypto Burb. He has a strategy. He only wins 30% of his trades. This dude he's in like a $600,000 long right now, or, he makes money because he has a strategy in place. Now that's what we got to get, every one of us, me included. We got to get better about having a consistent strategy. Anybody know about Coinbase user that left their Gala token on Coinbase? Did I lose my funds? Coinbase said they can't do nothing. Well, here's the deal with that. I'm unaware of you losing funds. I had a bunch of Gala on Coinbase, and I got the notification that they were I got the notification that they were turning off trading, but it didn't limit the ability to hold the coins on there, and unless something changed. I had since sold those tokens. I was a little not concerned. I was up in profit on them, and then because they weren't supporting the V2 launch or rolling those over, yeah. So I'll look into that, and I'll get an answer back to you tomorrow, Nico. But yeah, I'm not sure about that. But I will say, any exchange or centralized entity that is holding your tokens, it's not the worst thing in the world if you're trading them. If you're using them to store your tokens, you need to reevaluate what your portfolio management is. You need to have, like right now, I have all my assets probably spread on 6 or 7 different entities and wallets. Meaning I have a bulk of my holdings in private storage that don't have access to the internet, the cold storage. And then I have probably 3 or 4 different exchanges that I have assets on that I'm trading, fairly regularly. Once I get to a point where a coin's been on a exchange for, an asset's been on exchange for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm looking at a chart and I don't see any move that I'm going to make, I pull it off and I put it in cold storage. So we all need to be better at that. It stayed Gala V1. It doesn't have value. Well, so on that note, this is what I was about to get to. If you have tokens on any centralized exchange, not only do we need to figure out when, why, where, how we can get them off into cold storage. By the way, one of the free courses in the new BitLab Academy, you can, if you're not a member, you can go and sign up for it for free. The free sign up, there's a self-custody thing there. Of course, it shows you how to utilize different cold storage and hot wallets. We are going to be producing another one with a couple of different wallets because we have Ledger on there, as well as there's another, I think, MetaMask as well. We're going to add a few more options in there as well that we're working on currently. But I want to say, if you do have your assets on Coinbase or whatever, those are emails because they send out emails about this. They send out notifications. They've talked about this. They provided all due awareness about what they're doing. So each one of us, there's a little bit of a caveat with the digital asset ecosystem. It does provide the opportunity for more freedom than the traditional banking system. But because it's a newer asset class, And not only because, but also the way it was designed, the way it is designed, we all have to do our part in taking more responsibility for the assets we hold. We need to read every email that we get from Coinbase or from Mexi or from BitGet or from Bybit, whatever exchanges you're using. You need to be aware of every correspondence they send and not gloss over it, because they did let us all know what was going on. So I'm very sorry if you did lose that. I really am sorry about that. I apologize. Now let's go ahead and jump back into these charts. Where we're at, Bitcoin dominance does look like it's falling down. If it does fall, there's a lot of different things that can happen here. Dominance could come down here and then rebound up, as we talked about. It could also come here, retest, and then break down, maybe all the way down as low as this 44%, which doesn't feel like a huge drop. But I'll tell you right now, even if that is, maybe that's a mini altcoin season. If this does break down to this target, which is a previous high here, then this would be a huge amount of liquidity into the altcoin markets if this were to happen. Because I don't really see a scenario where Bitcoin is falling more, because theoretically you could have Bitcoin and alts fall at the same time, but Bitcoin falls more or further and faster than altcoins. That's not going to happen unless there's some catastrophic. It still wouldn't happen. I was going to say unless there's a catastrophic event on Bitcoin, but in that case, that would nuke the entire crypto ecosystem. So if this is dropping, this means that the altcoins are performing better than Bitcoin. So I kind of want that, because I'm pretty heavily allocated into altcoins right now. But if we come out of this chart, we come over here to, let's turn the brush off. This is the total two. The total two, which you can see right up here. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't have my chart on. Yeah, my apologies. Sorry about that. What I was showing there, I mean, you all would have seen it, but what I was this right here. If this were to nuke all the way down here, this is the previous high. Boom. This would be resulting in the altcoins really, not every single one of them, but a good grouping of a lot of the useful and the ones that have a good amount of people involved with them, decent market cap or exciting new news stories. This would be a lot of liquidity pouring into altcoins. Now, looking over here, this is specifically looking at the entire altcoin market. It's Ethereum and it's basically the entire asset ecosystem without Bitcoin for crypto. Now we can see right here, this has kind of been, it's been remarkable actually. If we kind of go to the 3-day, it's been remarkable. Let's go auto, double click. We could see, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. We can see this massive downtrend resistance. This is broken through, but it's been holding on to, it's been really holding on to the hope of a bullish narrative. That's what we're seeing here. This is the hope of a bullish narrative. Now price is still falling, but there's still bullish hope here because we're holding above this massive sort of macro downtrend resistance that has flipped to support. Boom, boom, boom. But it's just holding on. It's just holding on. So we can see here, if we just look, this is just the macro environment. Remember, we're going to dive into some of the local TA here in a little while, but we can see this is holding on. Once this starts pushing up, we've got a couple areas to contend with. We've got about a 6% area to contend with, which is the bottom side of this whole brown range here, which is basically marks the top of this area here. And then we have another, basically an 18% move up to the top side of this range. But I do think we'll get a little bit front run here, a little bit of a rejection in this zone here, because we have this previous high right here. So we may get a little bit of a rejection here. And this is the entire altcoin market, to then come down, test a little bit, and then moonshot up all the way up to here. Now, there's a lot of wonderful things setting up for the market when we start getting some impulse, but we got to pay attention to the Dixie. We got to pay attention to this, because this, as we talked about last Friday with Bill Noble, this is a great metric for not just crypto, but for markets in general, especially for riskier assets. This is a good indication of where risk is laying in the market. This is not the only thing that's determining risk, but the DXY, the dollar index, is basically an index that's weighing the value of the dollar as it relates in strength to other currencies around the world. But what this also indicates that is if this is pushing up, this means that this is this asset is performing well, and you'll see a very strong correlation of when this is performing well, the crypto market or risky assets are pulling back. Think about November to November to November through February, we had the basis of the floor of Bitcoin right in through here, and then at the beginning of the year, right about into December, beginning of the year, these assets were falling, but Bitcoin didn't have that strong push up yet because there's still a lot of fear in the Bitcoin market. But then we just got that moon explosion all the way here. This is that pullback that we had, and then we had the continuation up. And then we had the current pullback that we're in now on Bitcoin. If you want to see this overlaid with Bitcoin, we can kind of do that right here. BTC, USD. We can see just like this. Now, go ahead. Can't. But you can see right here. This is the base of Bitcoin right here. This was the collapse of FTX. So this did, of course, dollars falling. If FTX did not collapse right here, we would have had probably a strong early impulse for the bull market. Then right here, okay, we see the dollar still falling. This is when Bitcoin really starts pushing. We got a little bit of a sell-off too, because this was still setting that floor. And then we started getting a really strong push up right here. And then you see right here, right where this is going up, this is right where this orange line, this is when Bitcoin's falling. I can't get the percentages compressed. I can't. But you get what you get the point. And then right here, when it starts falling again, look, right where it's falling, this is where Bitcoin is moving back up. So we want to pay attention to what's going on with the Dixie. And if we look at it as it is right now, we can see option T. We got a bit of a trend line right here that I mean, hopefully this is looking, if we looked at it just on TA, like this was a specific asset we're trading right now, rounding bottom. So we knew from the rounding bottom, and we're getting these, the relative extrema green bars here, meaning that this is outside of the norm, it likely will bounce. Outside of the norm, likely bounce. Outside of the norm, likely bounce. And we got that, and then as we push up, now we're getting a rounding top here. We're getting a little bit of a rounding top. We're getting a bit of a dragonfly doji. We get, a bearish engulfing candle. Then we get, a bullish engulfing candle with a large wick to the upside that gets rejected, comes right back down. Then we get another attempt, large wick to the upside. These are all sort of, not every single one of them, but the majority of all these candles is a reversal looking setup here, also with the rounding. And now we're actually breaking the low. So is this a sign that the Dixie is about to roll over and get, actually not only it is rolling over, but are we going to roll over, come up and break out? Or is this going to roll over and then have continuation to the downside? This is what we want for the crypto market if we're expecting any sort of bullish impulse in June. This is what we want. We want this one right here, whether we have this relief or just start, having this that worked the way down. Then the interesting thing here is going to be when we get to this level right here. This is basically the double low, 1, 2, 3, triple low. If this comes down here, what we need to expect is when how it works its way down, doesn't matter if we get a big impulse. When we get down to this level, we're very likely we'll get some sort of bounce and then continuation down, rejection like this. So this is what we want to see. Yeah, hit those emoji buttons. Let's let those emojis fly. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Let's get this going. We got 152 people in the room, only 107 likes. That means only two-thirds of you are paying attention, because if you're participating and I'm waking up early for you, you're watching, even if you hate what you're hearing, you're here watching, and that means you like crypto. By hitting the like button, you're not just helping this channel, you're helping the crypto ecosystem, because you're letting YouTube know you like crypto content. So let's get this chat popping too. What do you all think? Do you think that you all let me know right now? Do you think the Dixie? I'll put a poll in chat right now. Where's the poll? Do you think Dixie break out up? Breakout. I'll do Dixie breakout up and crush markets, or it's going to break down and rocket markets up. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Hit that poll in chat right now. Now let's go ahead and start looking at some assets. We got to figure out what's going on. We can see that the USDT dominance is also it's starting to roll over, which is good as well. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on in these assets. Now we're going to look at Bitcoin first, of course. Now remember, I drew this last night, but I drew this one yesterday. There's two sort of opportunities here. Are we going to come down, basically come up with a little bit of a retrace, which this was drawn yesterday, which is kind of what we're getting. Are we going to get rejected and come down to this region? Or is this going to be exactly as it is? We're going to bounce, work our way up, get rejection, come back, and then test the top side of this parallel channel. Well, before we can figure that out, let's go ahead and do what we're supposed to do. Double click on the chart. Come to the monthly. Let's look at what's going on. Oh, this is still good today, by the way. I didn't mean to show you all this, but you get it now. You can use Give Me 30 or for just the indicators. If you just want the BitLab indicators, you can use Stack 30 at checkout. That's over here. If you come here to bitlabacademy.com, come to BitLab indicators, and you'll see it's basically the full trading stack. Right here, you can get use Stack 30 and you get 30% off, and you can use Give Me 30 for if you're getting both the courses and the indicators. I would recommend, if you're getting the courses and the indicators, to go back to this page right here and just go ahead and get the BitLab Pro, because you get basically a larger discount. If you get the BitLab Pro, you get a discount that's in perpetuity on every month. If you want to just get the courses and the indicators and pay the 77 plus 37, you can do that. It's more money for the channel, but I'm trying to save you all money. And if you do that, use Give Me 30 for 30% off. Now, coming back over here, I only shared that with you. I didn't mean to shill, just because when I put it on the monthly, this popped up, so I thought I'd share it. So we could see here, let's go ahead and go to the longer chart. Monthly. Okay, now let's go to the Heikin-Ashi candles. Let's go to remove all indicators. Now we can see Heikin-Ashi candles, clear trends. Okay, we're push up, breakdown, push up, breakdown, push up, breakdown. A little bit of a fake out here. This right here would have been this, but this was the global economic shutdown right here. So we had the outlier. We can never plan for these. These happen. We had the push up, breakdown, push up, breakdown. Very clear with these Heikin-Ashi candles. You get them up here on the top. You don't see both of these. Press this little down arrow. Heikin-Ashi, put a star by it, and then you'll have the two that you have the star by are the ones that are going to be up here on the top. Now, we did get the push up. Currently, on the Heikin-Ashi candles, I want you to notice this. This is a good learning point. And as we do that, take 1 second. Oh, everybody got to stretch. Stretch your back. Stretch your back with me. Oh, man. Okay. Now, coming back to the chart here, we got to take care of our bodies, everybody. It's not just about making money. The whole thing about making money here is for making money to take care of our family, to live a good life, to not be beholden to other people. So that's what we want to do. So looking here, Heikin-Ashi, this is sort of cuts the noise, and we've seen this before. You see the difference here? Now the white candles on this chart are the bullish candles, the gray are bearish. But you see how it's white, gray, white, gray, white, gray. It's a lot of choppiness. And in this case, on the monthly chart, we had a red month. We had a down month, and now we have 29 days left on this month, of course, because it's the first day. But we're currently in a red candle. But if we look at the Heikin-Ashi candles, look at this. It shows the last one green. Why is this? It has to do with the volume, and the volume traded during that time period on that candle. And so the volume was there was a lot of bullish volume that held in that traded in last month. So in this case, this means by basically a volume-based sort of analysis of the candlesticks here, looking at the Heikin-Ashi is suggesting that the volume is still in favor of the bulls. So we haven't had the red candle yet. And we tend to have, we can have a little fake out like this, but I don't think we're here. I think we're more like somewhere in the range of this or somewhere in the range of this. So we want to pay attention to this. And this is coming down. We need to have a strong month here, or we will get, a couple red candles here, very likely. Now, looking at this, we can come down. Let's go back to our traditional setup with our indicators. This is looking, though, here we go. This is looking on Heikin-Ashi. This is looking like we did get a little over exuberant here. We did get a little over exuberant. We got the pink candles here showing that the relative extrema, I'll take my face off so you can see this. The relative extrema, this is showing health of moves within a trend. This green, we can see it on the way I have my candle set up. But we can see that this is a little bit, excuse me, is a little bit over exuberant. And I think this is playing out as this indicator pack is showing. This is showing over exuberance on this candle right here. Then we got, you know, 2 more pink candles, but we also have the spinning top right here, which is indicating a likely rollover. We got that rollover. The question here is, what is going to be the extent of this rollover? Is this going to be a rollover into this and bounce as it has and then continue up? Or is this going to roll over, have some choppiness, and then break down? That's what we're trying to determine. So we see the monthly. Let's go down to the 3-day, get a little bit more clarity. We got the over exuberance, pink candles, roll over. Now, this isn't going to flash on every single time. This is why you need a variety of different indicators that you utilize. And each one of our indicators with the trading stack really groups a bunch of different data sets in them themselves. So you're getting confluence with each single indicator, but then when you combine them together, you're getting very, very strong confluence. You see right here, pink rollover. We didn't even have pink here, but we still rolled over. But we did get the overheated, very overvalued sign here with the red wave. And in addition to that red wave, we can see if we were to come down onto the daily chart right here, we did have the pink indicators here. We also had the bearish divergence on the volume and the relative extreme out. And we're at a local level of resistance. This was a perfect short opportunity if you were to take it, or a take profit if you're trading this range. So where we're at today, how do we contend with what's going on? Well, we saw the monthly. There was indication that we likely would roll over. And look at it. We have rolled over. The question again is, how far are we going to roll over? Now, these 3 lines have been on here for all the way back since, I think, about over here. And this is just playing out. And we have the 3 different opportunities. This one we can delete because this did not play out. I mean, I guess technically it still has, because this has fallen into this range. The question is what's going to happen, but we'll delete it anyway. The question now is, this is pushed down to this level. So is this, I'm going to make this orange actually. Turn this orange. No, let's do a different color. Do blue. Just because these other lines are orange. Is this going to push down to this level? We're chopping sideways right here. Are we going to consolidate? Is this just a little bit of consolidation, which it's starting to look like, to then continue to the upside? Or is this going to have the bottom fall out from under it and actually come down here and tap the liquidity at 24,000 or down here at the 22,000? I mean, look at this box right here, the order block right here from the Mesopic Vision. See, this is an area I am paying attention to. And this is also near the lower side of this parallel channel that we have coming up here, if we're going to look at this like a parallel channel. But remember, we have multiple charts. So on this chart, I have this drawn a little bit more. Actually, I can draw this. I'm going to move this a little bit like that. Yeah. So now zooming in here, because it looked very crowded when it was zoomed out. Let's go ahead and, we'll leave that. Let's come down to the 4-hour. All right. Getting a message from the team. I do remember we are going to do PancakeSwap and Optimism, and I'm going to look at ADA ETH here in a second, and then I'll look at ADA USD as well. So as this stands right now, just looking at this as it is, these are the 2 paths that I was drawing yesterday, and then we had this other opportunity, this lighter one. You may not be able to see it because I have it very faint, but we broke down, and we're kind of in this pocket right here between we kind of tapped near the 786. I did this actually. This moved again. There we go. This is the golden pocket is right here. Look at, it's almost like it's also the point of control. You see this point of control, this pink line sticking out of this range right here. This is a point of control. And this is right where price got basically sucked down to, because market makers and movers and price memory, people knew that there's a lot of price memory in this region. So if they knew if they could sell here, there'd likely be some support in this region because there's a lot of price interactivity here. So even bulls may, big market makers may be pushing price down so they can get a better opportunity, because they know at this price, this point of control here, that there's, even though they're pushing price down and they're bullish, they may be trying to push price down so they can get a better opportunity, tap the liquidity here, because they know there's going to be other buyers in this region. Now, this did sort of whip down a little bit lower, but it still stayed above. What did I say? This was the most bullish case. If this held, between this and this region, this 382, The next bullish case was if we held right at this golden pocket. We lost that, but we got sucked right back up into it. So as it stands right now, this is a very uncertain zone because this has been sucked up into it. But you see this candle right here. This candle is essentially a doji candle. We could call it a spinning top because if we expanded this, it would. If we expanded this, it would kind of look. Yeah, I'll call it a doji. It's a very, very, very narrow body and very long wicks equally on both sides. This is showing bullish momentum increasing because this candle gets larger, and then all of a sudden this gets very flat with a lot of movement to the upside, a lot of movement to the downside, indeterminate. So this means we had bullish momentum, indeterminate now, but this also could be a little bit of a pause because of the golden pocket. The question is going to be here, if this rolls over, if we lose this level, I think that we're actually going to be testing down to the lower side of this range, back down into the zone. If we roll this over, and not just, a little bit of choppiness, but this actually rolls over and comes down, I do think that we'll be topping down, maybe even breaking this, this sort of zone, this low here, 25,895. I think if we come down here, this is sort of a continuation of bearish momentum to test down to the 25.6 to 25.8 region. So we'll put a little box there. This is how we kind of keep track of what we're doing. This is how we keep track of what our calls are, where we think things may be going. So we'll put another box right in this region. I'm going to make this one, because this is already tapped. Let's go ahead and make this a little more transparent. And this way we know what we're looking at. This is not transparent enough. Sometimes you end up feeling like an artist sometimes, doing all that, like you're on Microsoft Paint over here making shapes and stuff. I need a rhombus. Alrighty, so now we can see this got tapped. Now, is this going to tap here? The question here, though, and the concern is if this does come back down to this region, this is also creating, we not only have this lower high, now we're creating another lower low right here. And the question is going to be, if this doesn't hold, I'm going to be looking for probably closing that CME gap, testing the 23,000 down to $20,000 to $23,000 range. So this is sort of, I don't want to say my last bet for the last hope for the bulls, but if we do lose this level, then I am looking at, I am looking down, below the $24,000 region, unless we get the caveat of having, a daily, something less than a 3-day candle wick down, and then very quick moonshot back up. That could very well, because if we get to these levels, we're going to be having a lot of shorts, meaning that maybe that's what the market makers are trying to do, get the price down here, get the opportunity for the best long position possible before we go into the pre-halving, strong pre-halving pump. And in which case, if we break this level, we're going to be getting a lot of shorts, meaning that there's going to be a one-sided sort of trade with a liquidation opportunity for, if they do get the price pushed back up, they could liquidate those shorts and get a short squeeze and then rocket this back to the upside. So we do need to pay attention to that. On the 4-hour, we are getting the blue wave forming here on the significant movement. Remember, blue wave, undervalued, likely trend cycle bottom. In this case, this trend cycle, this is a trend we're looking at on the 4-hour, just this right here. This is looking like it may have a reversal point brewing, but we can have, for quite a period of time. And I do want to point out, you want to make note of how low and how high these waves are, because this becomes much stronger when they're higher. As you can see here, right here, this got very high. We got a pretty strong reversal down. This is fairly low. Is this going to just be a small bounce here? We need to take note, but we do see relative extrema also very far outside of the wave coming down into this. And we're getting some support right here at the golden pocket, which is perfectly aligned with this point of control as we talked about. So that's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. Now it is time to go and break down a bunch of the other coins. We've got 152 people in the room, 127 likes. What's going on? We don't got people in the room today, but we got the main people that matter that are here. So shout out to every single one of you. OP actually looking like it's going to roll over and come down. Well, you know what? Let's look at Optimism first. I'm going to come over to my other chart. Right here, alts. Let's do it on this ICP chart. All right, let's look at it. Take my face off the chart. Let's look at what we're seeing here today. Now, let's go to the monthly. We don't need this as much on this asset because we also know what's going on with Bitcoin. So this did kind of came down, found support right here. It's kind of below this, which is it's a newer asset, so it's not going to, TA is not going to work as perfectly on this because it's a lot easier to move around. Let's go down to the daily. Okay, daily. Okay, push up, break down, push up, distribution top, rolling over, lower highs. This is sort of inevitably going to break down. So you said, Alex, that it looks like it's going to roll over. I mean, to me, it looks like it has rolled over. So we got the very high red wave early, and then it started rolling over, pushing down. Man, this is not looking like an easy chart to read. Okay, there you go. We got a bit of a falling wedge. Got a bit of a falling wedge. Sometimes you just got to look at it a second longer and some clarity will come. So we do have a bit of a falling wedge. Let's go ahead and make these lines a little bit darker so you can see them. There you go. So that's what we're looking at right there. You guys can, yeah, you can see this other chart. So my concern here is that it's going to follow the leader of the market. If this breaks, I'm looking at price coming down in this order block that is outlined here. This is the mesopic vision. This is one of the new indicators coming. Not only do you get the volume profile, you get your point of control, you get your high, your low, but the money maker here on the mesopic vision is having this order blocks here. So if this loses this level, I'm looking at coming down to $1.02 region. Now, if this does bounce, I do think I think this is going to be sort of determined by what direction the market's going. If this does, just consolidate, the market's still choppy, this is likely what's going to happen. But we were looking for when this breaks here, and then we'll be looking for essentially this level and this level. The easy way to do that is option J. Option J. If you're on PC, it's Alt J. That's how you get the horizontal ray. And we can see that if this were to break out here, I'd be looking for these moves up. Now, this is just a price action levels. Now we do option F from the top to the bottom. We can get a bit of a golden pocket here. Sort of outline map. Look at this. This 382 is exactly where this sort of got rejected off of. So on the way up, if this were to break out, whether it's here or down here to the upside, I'd be looking at a little bit of a pause here at the $1.93, a pause here in this 217 to 220 range, 217 to 225. I think that we're going to have a little bit of work to do here and then continue on up to 282, 271 to 282. These are going to be the three sort of points that I'm looking at. We can actually, you know what we'll do? We'll kind of go over here, price label. We'll do option, actually, there we go. Now Command C, now Command V, Command C, now Command V. These are the sort of zones I'd be looking at. And yeah, I was going to do a bunch of other stuff, but I don't need to do that. So that's what I'm seeing, and we know that these other zones are also tied to where the fibs are. So that's what I'd be looking at for optimism. Now, if we look at it at the 4-hour chart, I see what you're saying. So on the daily chart, it looks like it ought to roll it over. On the 4-hour chart, yes, it is looking like it's rolling over. This is trying to push up. This looks like what we talked about, the classic stair-step pattern, right? And what does this remind you of? If we come back over here to my page, let's go there right now. This right here, this chart, this is what a downtrend is. Down, sometimes relief up, sometimes relief sideways, okay? But when you're in a trend, which in this case on Optimism, this is in a trend down, down, sideways, down, down, sideways, down, sideways, down, a little bit of relief, fake push up, down, sideways, down, sideways. So what's going to happen here? This could really go, this could consolidate all the way across over here. But as it's looking, this is mixed signals. We have the relative extrema is printing red, pink candles, as you can see. You see the dot here? You get these dots the first time you have a candle sticking out. So even right here, you may not have caught these candles sticking out, but you get this little triangle warning sign showing you that this is out of context. But this is also in perfect confluence with this huge blue wave that had a very weak sort of, it took a while for this to finally bounce. We had the long blue wave and the relative extrema kind of flashing on the way down, but we didn't get any bullish divergences on the volume. On the volume or on the market intelligence. So this is sort of a weak signal right here. And this is flashback gray. This is looking like it's going to get resistance in this EMA ribbon. This EMA ribbon is going to be changing also, by the way. It's going to be more similar to it's going to basically be able to, you're going to be able to see if you're in a bearish trend or a bullish trend immediately by looking at the EMA ribbon on the new market intelligence, which is coming out soon. The updated market intelligence, but this is getting rejection in the EMA ribbon each time it comes into it. Relative extreme is printing pink, and the undervalued flash has gone back to neutral, which is not good because we got a very weak push up. So I'd be immediately looking for this to retest down to the $1.33 range. If we lose that, then we already told you where I'd be looking down below this. Now we're going to look at ADA. Let's come back to my other chart. I already have an ADA chart. Now let's go to double click here. Let's go to the weekly. Let's look at a little bit of the macro here. So push up, breakdown, got a bit of a rising wedge, it looks like too, which I don't think I had noticed before. Or maybe a rising channel. No, it's a rising wedge. Yeah, we have a bit of a rising wedge, which is not particularly something I want to see, but we've broken out of it, which makes sense. So we have the rising wedge. We've broken, you know, this would be the lower bound. We have the rising wedge. We broke bearish out of this. The question here is this, as this comes up, is this going to retest and reject down? If the market is going down, yes. I mean, as a whole, but I do think I'm bullish on Cardano into the next bull run, but this is looking weak as it is. This is looking like it did basically retest and is breaking down. So let's come down to the 4 hour. Let's look at this, and then we're going to look at the ADA ADA ETH chart. It'll be a good experiment for all of us to look at this stuff. So now look at this. Push up, break down. It kind of fell right through this golden pocket, but it's bouncing at the 786. It looks like. Is this 786? Yeah. Now we can kind of adjust this and see if there's maybe we should just do candle bodies, but that same thing. So yeah, it's coming down to the 786. I think we can delete the fib on this and just look. So we come up. This is a perfect example of market cycle. Down. I mean, if we really expanded this, you'd see down. This is a bit. Let's go 30-minute. See, down. We got the consolidation. Push up, break down. Push up, break down. Push up, break down until we get our M top. This is what we're seeing. This is very similar to what we're looking at right here. M or double top or triple top or head and shoulders or something that shows a likely reversal. That's what we're seeing here. Double top, lower high, and then we lost, lower high, and then we also broke this low. On this retrace, this could have been a short opportunity to take profit if you were trading along and still confident, but then you see the lower low and the lower high, boom, take the profit. And then we push down, relief rally, push down, likely a little bit of consolidation, relief rally. But if I were looking at this purely on a structural standpoint, this looks like it's likely going to be testing at minimum the lows here at 35.6 and likely down to this 35.17 sort of zone. If we lose 35.17, then we're going to be looking at lower targets coming down and maybe into the 34s. So this is also looking, there's multiple, let me look at this. We got to look at multiple. This is also looking like a broadening wedge. And yeah, it just looks undeterminable. We're getting a blue wave getting a blue wave here. Getting a blue wave on the significant movement. It's very low. The relative extrema was flashing back here, but we fell through it because we're having weakness in the market. Volume's fairly flat. Yeah, this is not looking super healthy. Pull down. This is flashing back blue on the 4 hour daily though. Relative extrema flashing. I'm trying to make a determination on this. We are getting two bullish divergences. We are getting the blue wave on the 4 hour. If we lose this level, if we roll over from this, we're looking lower. If we're actually able to have some strength here, because we did get the relative extrema showing some hidden sort of strength here, but we're getting some sort of weak bullish divergences here. I'd like to see a couple more bullish divergences form. I'd really like to see hidden volume divergence, meaning see these red and green. The green flags are bullish divergences. The red ones are bearish divergences on volume itself. I want to see a bullish divergence on volume to then come back up. Now, Alex Green, right on. I like when ADA drops. I can get more from my buck. How many of you in here are ADA holders? Throw up ADA gang. If you're an ADA holder, let me know. I've been a long time ADA holder. Years ago, I had like just under 1 million ADA, not $1 million worth, but man, I had like, I don't remember, 800 and something thousand. And I can't hate on myself because I made profit, but I sold it. I got it at like around 1 cent and I sold it like between like 4 and 6 cents. And I felt like, you know, I mean, this is years ago. I took profit, so it's the right thing to do, but I didn't do what I try to tell people to do now. You know, if you make profits on an asset and it's a strong asset like that, then you should always, you know, it's a good practice to hold a bit of a moon bag. Keep some, you know, long term. If you made money on it, you took out your initial investment and you made more money profits, you know, after you took out your initial investment, you can leave a bag of that, especially when it's early in an ecosystem sort of coin. You know, that's what I did with Bitcoin. I got several, a couple $1,000s worth at the absolute lowest it was. And then I took profits when it had a pretty, I didn't take full profits. I took my initial investment out when it was moonshotting. And then now I'm basically, it's probably going to be quite a while before I take any more profits. Cause now it's everything I have in the Ben token that I'm holding is only profits. It's just moonbag. I can forget about it. You know, I can, you know, watch for all the developments and the ecosystem that they're building with the Ben token and the initiatives that they're really working on. And you know, so I'm confident in the long run for that. So I'm just holding because I already have my initial investment out. Now, ADA. Let's see. What price point? Everybody let me know what it might not be your average price point now, but the first time you ever bought ADA, let me know what price point you got it at. Let's see how many OGs we got in the house. There's some people may have bought it at, you know, $2.75, and that's okay because you're still here learning. Now you know how you can identify those lows. Now let's go ahead and look at ADA, ETH. Let's see if we can pull this chart up. I've never looked at this chart. There's not as much liquidity on this chart. You can tell by just the types of candles there are. There's not a lot of movement in them. See a lot of dojis. Now, maybe there's another. Let me see if there's one on another exchange. Let's try Binance. Yes, this one has more liquidity. So here we go. So looking at the ADA ETH chart. Now, first off, why would we want to look at this? We want to look at this. Maybe somebody maybe their safer asset, their larger holding in their portfolio that is a large market cap is Ethereum. You know, some people think Ethereum is going to perform better than even Bitcoin, this cycle, or probably for a good period of time. And maybe they're just not a fan of Bitcoin. So they're holding ETH as their larger cap coin, as their anchor in their portfolio. And so when they're trading Cardano and they're trying to determine when to get Cardano or not get Cardano, and ETH is their anchor in their portfolio, then you want to make sure the assets that you're buying are going to perform better than the asset that is your anchor in your portfolio. So in this case, you're trying to identify when the best opportunity is to buy to buy Cardano. In this case, we can see option T on Mac, Alt T on PC. If you are a PCer, gives you the trend line, option T. Go ahead, come on. So we've got a couple different things going on here. Now let's go ahead and look at the indicators. Bearish divergence most recently, actually a couple with no bullish divergences, but we are down. Look at this, came down perfectly to a level that's been 1, 2, 3. Question is, are we going to drop? Well, let's go ahead and look at the 3-day. Let's go auto. What's going on there? All right, so here's what we got to look at. Option right here, option J. So we can see right here, this has been a long-standing trend line. Now, if we zoom in on this and we put this up like this, look at this. Look at where we bounced. Not only this trend line that we had from these 2 points, but all the way back here, this trend line from April 2020. See this? This is how you can, if you're wondering, are we going to bounce? Well, I would have more conviction that we were going to bounce here because of that long-standing thing. Now, if we lose this level, it could get really bad for the pairing of Cardano to ETH. As it stands right now, I would say that it looks like it's probably shaping up for a decent buy. If you want to wait for a safer buy, it would be, you know, once we work our way and break out here, but it depends on what your strategy is. If we're looking here on the 8 hour, we can see the relative extrema has been, each time it comes down, we're getting these flashes. This was overheated 4 hour blue. So we're getting that signal. We're getting a little bit of a bounce, but weakness immediately. Look at that push up, shot back down. The next candle, the next two or three candles are going to be important of where we're going to go from there. Now, if we look at the 2 hour, yeah, we're getting, you know, I'd say that it's probably still looking fairly strong. I would bet on this probably performing well unless Cardano really breaks down as compared to Ethereum. Now we need to look. We looked at it. We need to look at SWI. What? Why am I? What? That's not Sun Communities. What am I doing? SWI crypto. Coming in here. Let's coming in hot. All right, we got to stretch our backs again, everybody. Oh, got to do the little thing with the baby shark doo-doo. Oh, do that with my nephew sometime when we're stretching. You got to keep it light, man. We can't always be so serious. I realized the first month or so, maybe 6 weeks that I was on this stream, I was like, I have such a responsibility to share this stuff. You know, talking, you know, for an hour and a half, I was a little too serious. So you guys are gonna get a little bit more of my personality. I tend to be a pretty lighthearted person. I mean, ask Brad Guidell. He's been around me in person for some time, and I tend to be pretty playful, a lot more so than when I'm on stream. And I want to be myself with you all. All right. So we can see we got a bit of a falling wedge here. It's almost a channel, but it's a falling wedge on SWI. We have this level right here, option J. The previous low. If we lose this level on SWI, which is 94 cents, I do think we'd be coming down here to the 88 cents sort of level. Depending on how long it takes to get there, it could be 89 cents down to 87 cents. If we hold this level, though, I'd be looking for a move back up to $1.04. It's not going to be straight up. It's probably somewhere, yeah, about $1.04. What we want to see, remember, you can take this trade right here if you're, you know, but you have to realize this may come up and get rejected and come back down. So if you're trying to take a smart trade on this, that's a little more conservative, is also because it's a newer coin. You could take this trade. I'll give you two scenarios. Right here, we've got a pretty decent scenario just with this sort of W pattern right here. What do I mean by W? I mean boom, 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 boom. Right. So what do we do on W patterns? Double bottom patterns. We identify the neckline, which is essentially option T. We'll do 2 lines for the bodies and the wicks. So it's kind of like this. So when the price action gets up into this level, this would be this area as it stands right here would be an aggressive entry where it is right here, and you would need this area right here where it currently. I forget that I have to draw. There we go. This area right here would be an aggressive entry, and you'd need a fairly tight stop loss. I would probably do it. Let me see what this measurement is. Golly, work with me. Yeah, so if I were to take this, I would come out over here to my risk to reward to a long position. If I were to take this, and this isn't aggressive, I don't recommend this, yeah, this would be aggressive. This would be aggressive, and I would do probably a tighter stop, and you would take this trade all the way up to there. This would give you a, you know, this would actually be the $1.04 region, right? So we're looking right here. So I wouldn't even recommend that. What I would recommend on this is not financial advice, strategy advice. I would wait for this to test back up to this level because it's showing a little bit of weakness here. I'd wait for this to test back up to this level or come down to this level and show strong signs of a bounce and then do a very tight stop loss on this. If this comes up to this level, you can take an aggressive entry at this level if the momentum looks strong and have a very tight stop loss, you know, very tight stop loss right below it. If this breaks out, the most conservative and the most consistent is when this breaks out, doing the retest and buying the breakout of this this high there. So that's what I'd be seeing on SWI. I do think the market starts moving. I do think we'll get up. You know, we're getting this momentum wave. You see this momentum wave curving? This cloud? What do I mean by that? See this cloud? This is indicating that there's likely going to be this. There's a likelihood that this will reverse back up. But yeah, I'd be a little cautious. But if we break this neckline, we would be making the way back up to the $4 region. At which point you're going to need to reassess. And then the best trade on this would be once, this would be aggressive, take profits once you get up here on the retrace, identify if you want to reallocate or not, or just leave the rest of your, whatever you left in from the profit taking on this. Once it breaks out, once it retests, you can buy somewhere in here you're confirming, you might be missing some of the percentage points in the middle, but you're confirming the move because we've had a lot of choppiness lately in a lot of these different assets. Did I do all the, I need to do cake. So let's do cake. I don't think I've ever done cake on stream. So let's do cake. I love cake. You can tell by my body. I eat a lot of cake. Now cake, we got no joke. No joke, Brad Goddell. All jokes, baby. Take the trade. Let the trade come to you. Yeah. So different strategies. Some people are just aggressive. Just, they're really tight with their risk management. Now, what I want to show here, look at cake. What we're going to be looking at here, first thing I notice is we got a bit of a bottoming formation here. That's a combination of a couple different things. It looks a little bit like an ascending triangle right here, but it also looks like a little bit like a head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders right here, right? We're kind of getting two within each other, which is actually, to me, led to the credence that if this is going to break out, it's probably going to break out to the upside. I did not take this trade. I would have taken this trade regardless of what the indicator said because of this chart formation. You have to look at patterns and candle patterns in addition to what's happening with the market. Now, as this is coming up, this is let's get something better. So now looking here, we had a blue wave right here. So the blue wave and then the bullish divergence on the volume coming in. And the relative extrema as soon as we came down. So we're seeing strength here. So my trade on this would have been, this is likely going to bottom because of the indicators and because of then what then developed within the price action on this price action. Now then the chart formation being this sort of ascending triangle, meaning ascending level of support, flat level of resistance. As we got in the zone, although things are looking a little weak, I would have been looking for a breakout. And very for that opportunity. Now on the 4 hour, I would have come down to probably like the 24 minute and looking at the 24 minute, this would have been a hard trade to take. So now I take it back. I don't know if I would have taken this trade because although the chart formation's there, I would have been a little hesitant because we are getting the relative extrema, but it's perfectly in line with everything being overheated and bearish divergence on this. Now, didn't take this trade. Oh man, the indicators didn't work because they showed you shouldn't have taken it. Well, let's see what happened. Okay, didn't take it here, but it pushed up. Man, then this type of person thinking that way would have bought up here because they didn't want to miss the move. Price would have rolled over, and then now look, we're basically came down. Essentially, this is loosely. We have the basically rolling back over. This is the same as having when you have a breakout. Sorry. When you have a line, when you have a breakout, roll it back over, find support, and then continuation. This is just not on the very small time scale. We can see right here, it took a little bit of time to develop, but this is exactly what happened. This came down, a lot of liquidations, consolidation, and then probably some short squeeze, rocket back right back to the upside because we had the very fast fall, we had the very sharp rise. Now, on this case, this did pull back over. This is a question here. On cake, let's look at cake. Okay, let's delete that for a second. We can see, is this going to be, this is the question. If I were to look at this on the 8 hour, let's, yeah, this looks weak. Let's go to the daily. This looks weak, son. But we're getting into a blue wave here. We've had a lot of intermix red and blue, but this is now just becoming blue, meaning that a lot of the momentum indicators have reset. It also means things are a little bit oversold. Yeah, they're a little bit oversold, they're undervalued. Getting this choppiness, we're getting a little bit of bearish divergence, but I would wait on cake. I would be waiting for a little bit of a strength. I'd be waiting for a little bit of strength to come in. I mean, on the 3-day, this is just down. This looks like a bear flag almost. 12 hour, yeah, I would want to break this level here before I saw any sort of level. This is $1.87. You could take whatever trades you want to take, but just because of the weakness of this chart, I would be waiting for this to consolidate a little bit in here and then have some large medium time frames sort of developing, showing some strength. Otherwise, I'd be sitting on the sidelines, and you're losing a couple percentage, but basically removing the risk of this potentially just falling further. And so let's look at Avalanche, a little turbo TA. This is looking, let's turn off all this stuff. Getting blue wave forming. What are we on? The 4-hour blue wave forming. RSI, bullish divergence. We got a double bottom here. Could this be brewing for something for this to push up to retake 14.95 and then continue up? I don't know. Let's look. 3-day. This is also M, like an M and an M. Blue wave on the 3-day. Daily neutral. That's okay. 12-hour neutral. But we got a double bottom here. 4-hour, we got the blue wave, we got the RSI divergence, we have the relative extrema flashing into this. I'm bullish on Avalanche. It has much lower transaction fees than like Ethereum and a bunch of other stuff. It's much faster. It's got partnerships with Amazon. I've been holding this for, I'll disclose, I've been holding this for quite some time. I've been adding to my position on this. I added some the other day, and I'm down from that position, but I'm okay with it because I had to fight myself on my trading strategy and on my DCA strategy. My DCA strategy was to add, so I added. And it's okay. But I'm up on this from some of the trades I make. And I think I reallocated on this, like, let's see. I reallocated on this, like in the $10, like 1068 to 10. It was like in this region right here. It was like, I literally bought in on the aggressive, this W pattern right here. I bought in somewhere in this zone right here. And so I'm just holding. So I don't mind if I'm DCAing a little bit, now what I'm seeing, at these levels, I do think the winds are going to be shifting here very soon. This is looking like it's trying to push up. We had a bearish divergence of volume that only brought us down to the previous low. We held. I think there's something brewing there. 1 hour, 1 hour's, we got to let some things develop. So what else? We got to look at XRP. It was in the thumbnail. We hadn't even looked at it. So 3-day XRP, there's a lot of speculation about what's going to happen with this with the court case. But like I said this on the Spaces the other day, I don't think it's going to give the clarity everybody wants. I think they're going to come to a loose agreement, but then there's going to be a negative tone in some of the wording of the decision of the settlement or whatever comes to the XRP. I am very bullish on XRP, but I'm also cautious in terms of there's going to be some speculation leading up to that. There's going to be some sell-off that happens after it. You need to have your idea of what your time horizon is on this, because I do think it's going to perform very well, but I think there's going to be some very interesting out of context from the rest of the market chop that it does see. So now when we're looking at the submersis, let's go ahead and pull this up. Okay, we've got point of control down here. Let's go ahead and turn back on the feather. Point of control's down there. So where we're at right now, this is starting to look very bullish. This is starting to look a little bit like an ascending triangle that is very early in the ascending triangle. But pushing up, we've broken this downtrend level of resistance. Let's come down to the 4 hour. Let's see what's going on here. So we pushed up. We got this the order block right here, rejection, support, a lot of interaction, broke back through it. We broke through this. We're looking for fairly bullish, even though we're getting a little bit of a pullback here. This is to be expected if you have a long trend line of resistance that we've broken through. I mean, even if we pull back down to the 48 level, it'd be super bullish still. If we pulled back down here and held, if we pulled back down here and sort of dipped below it and held, that would be bullish too. But as it stands right now, this is looking like we have a little bit of a bull pennant, a bull flag, bull pennant. So if we were to look at that option T, we could do it from all the way down here, but let's be conservative. Let's do it from there. We go like this. So the next target up, look at that. Look at that bull flag. If this were to break out bullish, what's the next target up? Exactly where our trend line is, directly above us. So, and that target is, let's see, 55.7. That's what we're looking on. So that's what we're looking at for XRP. If we do break this to the upside, that's what we're looking at. If we do drop from here, it's still bullish. If we hold this level, if we drop down, we have plenty of levels of support below us. But with that being said, I love you all. If you have not yet, make sure you head over to my Twitter page here. set your reminder. We'll be going live at 4 o'clock on Twitter Spaces. We got a great thing going there. We're the longest running crypto talk on Twitter Spaces, I believe, because I started a day or two after they even turned Twitter Spaces on. So come check us out here and make sure you go to the BitLab Academy page here. Hit that retweet, hit that like button. We're going to be giving out, we'll be doing a drawing tomorrow. We didn't get that 200 plus likes today, but we do a drawing either way Friday. So I'll see you all there. I love you. I appreciate you. Hit that like button. Even if you haven't yet, even if you think it's silly, it really does help keep this crypto ecosystem driving forward and growing. And I do appreciate it. So with that being said, yeah, I'm gonna go throw in some lab coats in the BitBoy stream. I love y'all. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. BitLabAcademy.com. I'll see you suckers later. Hit that like button.